Hi, how are you? I'm Anthony from Cypher House, and today I'm back with a brand new puzzle hunt series. This time, we're digging into Puzzle Potluck 4. It looks like we have nine of these. I assume these are the puzzles in the black spaces, and then 2 white spaces in the middle, which could be Metapuzzles or something else. Now, I'm pretty sure we're going to want to start by clicking on Welcome up here. Good afternoon, says Isabel. I believe she actually is from Animal Crossing, if I'm not mistaken. I've only played like one Animal Crossing game, and it's not the most recent ones. And now for today's announcements. We have some extra special visitors on our island today. Our first annual summer parade is upon us. Oh, but it would be great if you could help out with some of the remaining tasks we need for our preparations. Each task has 2 parts at 2 different locations. I don't exactly remember where they all are, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. 2 parts at 2 different locations, okay? When you finish a task, report back to me at Resident Services, and we'll check it off the list. Oh, I just remembered, if you're not sure what to do first, I think one of the tasks starts at the airport and ends at the DIY workbench. I wanted to take an extremely brief look at the Metapuzzle first. Bulletin board. Once you've completed all the preparations for the big parade, you still need to come up with a plan to cap off the celebrations. As you think back on everything you've done today, you realize that there's only one way to give the parade a satisfying grand finale. Nine things that we need, so I assume that's in some way going to correspond to the 9 tasks or 9 solutions that we find. And then we have a parade route with 9 of these brown circles around the outside. This is probably going to correspond to our 9 locations. So my guess is, since we're given the house location here, and I assume that's an actual location, that maybe we're going to get an answer that ties the house to another location, and that answer goes in here. And then it looks like we might have uniquely alphabetized animals, like I see an A. I see some rare letters like a Y, J, Z. I think maybe we take those letters in alphabetical order, and we get our answer? Okay, good to know. So we're supposed to start at the airport, which is here. Let's go to the airport then. Oh, wow. This is very interactive. So it looks like there's 2 different things here. There's a gate, and then there's a desk. Okay, so yeah, this looks like a puzzle. This looks like something that I've seen, well, not something I've seen before, but something that I can identify as a puzzle. And does something similar happen if I click on the desk? Yes. Okay. These passengers need to be routed to their proper destinations. What you find on each flight may become useful. Okay, so let's just approach this like a normal-ish puzzle hunt puzzle and just see if we find an answer. I don't know if we're going to be able to without the other part or not. So we have destinations. Even though most people there don't eat beef, you can still find plenty of meats in Delhi. Be sure to visit the Amateur Radio Convention in Lima. 37? 37 passengers. Okay. We have to put these passengers onto their flights in some way. And I'm guessing these descriptions are going to help us do that. We're told that there's an amateur radio convention in Lima. When I saw Lima, my first thought was of the NATO alphabet here. Do we see any other NATO letters here? I saw we almost have Bravo in Bravados. Echo Foxtrot. This looks a lot like Echo. Sierra is in this one, but that one's even more split up than the others. I think that's okay, though. November's in unproven numbers, says Light Scouters. So Delhi, they don't eat beef, but you can still find plenty of meats. So I'm guessing we need to find meats. I think we're maybe looking for homophones. Ah, no, not quite. This has bacon in it. Now we have to decide whether we take veal from valet. I think so. That sounds right. I'm wondering if we get a letter from each of these in each category, because it says what you find on each flight might become useful. So, like, in this category, of course, each of these words represents a letter. Bravo's a B, Echo's an E. Does this spell anything? Could be like beans. Oh, ham is in mash, so we can go backwards and mix up the letters. Salami is in impalas. Miami is known for its tasty double-decker sandwiches. We have an MI, a letter in between, and then an MI. I think we're going to try to find words that have that letter pattern, not necessarily with MI and A, but with two letters, a different letter, and then the same two letters as before. Mesmerizing has it. I've realized I'm not the best at scrolling through things like this. Ah, that one has one, right? The EN, convenience. Oh, Waterfall says chickens and check-ins. Hanging Chad says tab stop for another one for Miami. Full-fledged says tab stop. And then picnic table says light scouters. Incorporate, tab stop found another one. Okay, good. Oh, and Plurimat has northerners, which I missed as well. Oh, sniping is another anagram of this. And I had pests here. You can count on Rome being a great vacation spot. Okay. I have an idea for this one. Count mixed with Rome makes me think of Roman numerals. Hawaii Interstate particularly looks tempting because it has the number 3 in here. So I assume we're looking for Roman numerals in this category, but I mean, if I just control F the letter I, like most of them have a letter I. So that seems strange. Go skiing. Give up, says Waterfall. Right now, if you index into the answers with those numbers, you have O's. Ah, you're right. So yeah, the second letter here is an O. Third letter here is a W. Fourth letter here is an E. And the sixth letter here is an S. Okay, so we'll go with O's for now. So maybe it's Banes and not Beans. Yeah, if there's another sorting to this, I'm not seeing it myself right now. That's alphabetical order by the original word, says tab stop. You're right, it is. So has there been an order to these as well? If I alphabetized these ones, it would be S-pst. These ones could almost be where they appear in the word. Yeah, here we have, right at the beginning, our double-decker sandwich. Do we have a double-decker sandwich? Yeah, that appears one letter later. Okay, that's satisfying, seeing the letters down the diagonal like that. The city of Seoul has a lot of soul. So, are we just eliminating a letter here for some reason? Are we... I wonder what the goal is on this one. I think Seoul has to be a silent E. Ah, that could be it. Gaff and heroin. Okay, that makes sense. Or just silent letters in general. Isle, bunt. That would make a little bit more sense, possibly. Because we have a lot of silent E's. Like, incorporate has one too, and convenience. If you sort deli by size, you get steps. I noticed we have double words here for a lot of these ones. So it could just be the first letter of, like, the first words. Will be alpha by the first word. This one? Oh, you're right, you're right. Because we have... Let me move this down a little bit. We have a B. And then a C. So acoustic basses does look like it goes here. So we need a D, double wrapped. And yeah, the only G, gingerbread bunt. Yeah, we can remove the D there. All right, and so what's our word here? Seaweed. Okay. On to Singapore. When traveling to Asia, Singapore is a very good place to start. Why does that sound? That rings a bell for me. Very good place to start. Is from Do Re Mi. Yeah, the Sound of Music song. Doe a deer, female deer. That one? Yeah. So do all of these have musical notes? Wisdom has do in it. Ray is our E. So trend line goes there for that one. Soul is S-O-L. Console games. T is going to be tight ship. Yeah, I think we now have our answer to how the Roman numeral things are going to work out. It very much was process of elimination, but that's okay because the other ones were seemed to be pretty findable. So we have an I here, and we have our V here. So indexing into those words gives P-O-W-E-R-S, so powers. And so now this one, I assume we're ordering based on the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then what's our extraction here? I assume it has to be something with this second word, because we aren't we aren't currently using the second word. Use the location of the note in the first word to get the index into the second word. Ah, that makes sense. If we look at wisdom, we have W-I-S, a note, and then M, so that's essentially 5 spaces. And we have teeth over here, so we have T-E-E, the letter T is where our note is, and then an H. So T-I-M-B, this one's on the 4th, E, R, and S. Timbers. So this feels like we've completed this step, I think. Unless we see anything for steps, beans, sniping, powers, seaweed, timbers. It feels like we've maybe completed this step, and we now take these and go use them somewhere else. To start us off, the hunt was nice in telling us that the thing that starts at the airport is going to end at the DIY workbench. We're going to hope to use these words in orange somehow for one of these 2 puzzles. The other puzzle is going to be the first half of a puzzle that goes somewhere else. So I don't know which is which. We're just going to have to dig in and see here. Let's go to the saw. Use your tools to uncover new presents. If you need help identifying what you find, just check out that big screen over there. I'm wondering if that's a hint for the airport. Is it? Like, when I think of a big screen, I think of potentially the big screen of arrivals and departures at the airport. So how many of these do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I assume this puzzle's going to expand and be something very different soon. But it looks like each of our words that we discovered in the airport applies to one of these tools in some way. So for example, you would use an axe to collect timbers. So I'm going to submit that and see what happens. You chop down some timbers with your axe, revealing a presentation within. Okay. For fishing rod, I was thinking it was the seaweed. Yep, same thing. Different presentation. Ation in parentheses is interesting. Ladder, I'm thinking is steps. Slingshot, I'm thinking is sniping. Wand is probably powers. And watering can is beans. Okay. And now we can take a look at our various presentations. So, partnership, retrospective, and proposal for continuity by N.J. Colonel of the U.S. Marine Corps 1992. Is this a real thing? Okay, no. Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony, and welcome to my TED Talk. Today we are talking about partnership, retrospective, and proposal for continuity. And also, my name is N.J. Colonel now. Let me give you some background. In Figure 1, we have a long wall of some kind, made of potentially metal by a street. And in Figure 2, you will see we have a team of armed soldiers silhouetted against the background. But what does this mean? Well, mine is bigger than something that is imagined. Let's talk about the lives that we've saved. We've saved very few blue lives and very many pink lives. But let's get to the actual results. We have a level of want versus a level of need. When you have a low level of need and a low level of want, there's something interesting. But if you have a high level of want and a high level of need, that's when you have this other thing. We don't care about the other diagonal. Let's talk about some words that we use. Honor, gold word, blue word. And to explain that, there's no time and there is no chisels. Finally, for some final recommendations, option A, which is preferred and has a footnote, has 2 things going for it. Option B has 2 other things going for it, but both options we can talk about. Okay, that's my TED Talk. Thank you very much. Presumably these title screens are telling us where to look. So I'm going to start with this first one. If these aren't real presentations, then they're probably referencing... Then they might be referencing, like, easily recognizable things, and I just haven't recognized any of them yet. Let me just see what our topics are for these other ones. Setting Team Expectations by a head coach. So in 1992, there was this movie called A Few Good Men. And Nathan Jessup was a USMC colonel in that movie. Okay, I was assuming they were movies. Tabstop says that in A Few Good Men, the main character is Nathan Jessup, so NJ. Okay, so we can be pretty confident that the date gives the year of the movie, and the main a character from the movie is initialed at the beginning of each slide. Where could this information be? I'm wondering if perhaps somebody gives a presentation in this movie? So, let me see, does Nathan Jessup, does the colonel, give some sort of presentation at some point in here? Figure 1, we live in a world that has walls, and walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Oh, that's actually all part of one big quote. So, okay, we live in a world that has walls. Those have to be protected by, so we get the letter Y. So, does this continue this quote? I have a greater responsibility than you could possibly fathom. Okay, so yeah, this is from the same monologue. Maybe these are all monologues, that would make sense. So this is, I have a greater responsibility. Yeah, so this is the letter O, this is the word responsibility, and mine is greater than you could fathom. You weep for Santiago and you curse the Marines. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know. Not knowing what I know is down here, it looks like. You weep for Santiago and curse the Marines. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives. So is this Santiago's death? Yeah, so that's an E. My existence. So that's a T. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Me on that wall, so that's an E. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. Nothing red on this slide. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself. I would rather you just said thank you. So option A, you just said thank you and went on your way. Went on your, so we get the letter R, way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon, and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think. You are entitled to. So that's the letter R. So that's the end of the monologue. That's the end of the presentation. So here's what I have. I have Y-O-U-R, your etter. So maybe it's just going to continue in the next one. We need a monologue by R.F., and I know somebody posted the movie about this earlier. Let me find it. Deep Blue Sea, said Christopher from Space. Yes, Russell Franklin, an aquatic investor played by Samuel Jackson. You think water moves fast? You should see ice. It moves like it has a mind. Moves like it has a mind. Like it knows it killed the world once. Killed the world once. So we have an I. Got a taste for murder. Got a taste for murder. So we have IF. 7 of us survived the slide. So that's an I. We said we'd say it was the snow that killed the other two. But it wasn't. Nature is lethal, but doesn't hold a candle to man. Nature can be lethal. Check. Man can be lethal. Check, implied. Holds a candle. Nature? No. Man, unspecified. So that's a D. So we're not going to fight anymore. We're not going to fight anymore. So that's an O. First, we're going to seal off this pole. Seal off, so an F, this pool. And then, editor's note, presentation was not completed. I'm guessing that's when Samuel L. Jackson dies in this movie. Currently, this says, you're terrified of... remember the Titans, Herman Boone, said Merlin knew a while back. You look like a bunch of 5th grade sissies after a cat fight. But any little 2-year-old child can throw a fit... Goals. Throw a fit? No, because any little 2-year-old child can do that, so we get a W. Into a team effort to achieve perfection. So an H in achieve perfection. When you put on that uniform, on that Titan uniform, you better come to work. So Titans, chances of coming to work, 100%. Other clothing choices, indeterminable. In every aspect of the game, you drop a pass. You run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment. So we get a T. You run a mile. You fumble the football. And I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Oh, this puzzle's fantastic. I like this a lot. I think it's so funny representing these movie quotes as these PowerPoint presentations. Okay, plan for taking action. This was taken, right? Somebody said taken for this one. Oh, by the way, our notes are currently saying you're terrified of what you... Onto Brian Mills, retired CIA operative, plan for taking action. Knowledge I possess, knowledge you possess. I don't know who you are. Who you are, so that's what goes here. We get the letter U here. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. You are looking for ransom, so we get the letter M. A very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills I have acquired. Quantity of skills I have acquired. Birth. No skills. Started working. Skills. This is career length, very long. We get a G. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Central intelligence apothecary for me. Active ingredient, skills. Use caution around people like you. May become a nightmare. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. You let my daughter, yes, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you. So an A from and. Currently our notes are looking like you're terrified of what you might say. Final inspirational presentation by A, who is the king in a 2003 movie. Lord of the Rings, possibly? Aragorn. Aragorn's an A character. Let me go to quotes. Aragorn, hold your ground, hold your ground. Let's see. Hold your ground, yeah. All right, here's the quote. Sons of Gondor. So N. A day may come when the courage of men fails. Courage of men. So this is a G. So the courage of men fails when we forsake our friendship. I bid you stand, men of the West. Men of the West, stand. All that you hold dear on this good earth. Okay, so it's an E. All right, so here's the notes we've been taking this whole time. All of those red question marks. You're terrified of what you might say. Following line. Okay, so we need the following line too. You're terrified of what you might say. You're terrified of what you might say. Your move, Chief. This is from Goodwill Hunting. So I'm wondering if that is our final answer to this two-part puzzle that started in airport departures. The first location was the airport. The second location was the DIY workbench. Ah, yeah, we now have an answer checker here. I'm going to try your move, Chief. Your move, Chief. During the hunt, teams had to DIY their own presentations based on an audio or video clip in order to receive the answer, which was moral. Hooray, that is correct. Okay, so we've successfully solved one of our tasks.